Hi, welcome to Digital SLR User TV again, and we're actually on location today. We've come to Canon headquarters. We blindfolded as we came in, so we didn't know where we were going and all that sort of stuff, but we're taken right into the heart of Canon, and we've got a bit of a surprise, and to a certain extent an exclusive too. Now, you probably all know what this is. This is the Canon EOS 5D, much loved, sold like hotcakes, and has been the staple for many a stock photographer, wildlife, landscape, etc. But and as you may have guessed, we're not here to see the 5D. We're actually here to see this baby. Ah yes, look. Recognise it? This is the 5D Mark II. Now, we haven't come all this way just to show you the magnesium alloy body with a new grip. Obviously, you're not going to be able to take many pictures with that. What we're here to show you is this. This is the Canon EOS 5D Mark II. Now, long awaited, lots of rumours on the net. We've seen some real teaser trailers both on the American website, UK website and the Japanese website too. So it's here. We've got some interesting things to tell you about it too. I'll go through some of the spec. A lot of you will have read about it probably by now anyway. I've seen some of the rumour sites and things, but this is straight from Canon, so we can tell you what the proper spec is. So we've got a 21.1 megapixel sensor in this, and it's a new sensor as well. It's not just, many of you might be thinking, oh, it's just going to be a 1DS Mark III in a 5D body. Not true. We've got a brand new CMOS sensor in here. 21.1 megapixels, as I've already said. Digit 4, 14-bit A to D processor. And the pixels are actually smaller within the sensor itself. Now, you might say, hang on a minute, it's smaller, but the proportional ratio of the colour data that they capture is far greater now. The pixels before were much bigger, and the area around them that was actually lost was quite large by comparison in this new sensor. So, whole new sensor, Digit 4 processor, to put it all through. And Digit 4 processor, if you don't already know, about 1.3 times faster than Digit 3, and Digit 3 was fast. So, a magnesium alloy body, as you've already seen the chassis here, very, very light. Feels like a toy actually, it's that light. This in a new coating as well. See the 5D here, it's got like a softer, very smooth coating. This one's got slightly rougher feel to it, though it's not rough. It's sort of more matte in texture and colour. Feels very, very nice in the hand. Lovely grip. You'll see there's also a slight redesign as well. If you can see the profile, pentaprism is just that little bit of shape. From the top as well, if I can show you that there, you'll see that the LCD is slightly different. The top buttons keeping in line with the 1D series. They've now spread those out, so there's a real generic sort of family feel to the camera itself. Now on the back, big changes there on the back too. We've now got a 3-inch LCD screen, what's called VGA. So in line with some of the competitors now, we've got a full, almost 1 million dots in that screen, so roughly about 260, 270 dpi. So you're almost seeing an image. Now how's that going to help you? Well, when you're zooming in, that's the key thing. You need to be able to see all those pixels, check it sharp, check to make sure you've got the, using that full 14-bit tonal range. So that's changed. Now, significantly as well, I've moaned about previous generations of menu systems from Canon. Complicated, convoluted. Now they've really changed this one. Hopefully you can see that. What they've done is, it still keeps the familiar style in terms of layout, but they've redesigned the font. It's much, much clearer. Now, apart from all my finger marks on the back of the screen as well, what's aiding that is there is now 2 new coatings, 2 new anti-reflective coatings on the LCD. So that makes a total of 3. So yes, a much larger 3-inch VGA LCD screen now with a total of 920,000 dots within the screen. Now that makes an equivalent of about 260, 270 dots per inch. So it's almost like having a Polaroid on the back there. So the big difference that will make for you is when you're actually zooming in to check sharpness and things like that. A little bit more about the internals of the camera itself. ISO range. Now, we know that the competitor has had this massive press on their ISO ranges and the low noise at high ISOs. Now, easily caught up. Obviously, we haven't seen pictures yet. These are just pre-production runs or beta models. So we're not able to test in the purest sense the image quality. But from all intents and purposes, looking at the images on the back of the screen at a variety of ISO levels, which now go from 50 to 25,400 ISO, so very much up there with competitors. In fact, they've gone one better than Nikon in that they've got a 50 ISO setting, so you arguably the biggest ISO range there is out there now. So, and from what we've seen, I've tested it and had a play at variety of different ISO settings. Nikon have got some serious competition on their hands now with this model. A bit more about the internals of the 5D Mark II. Integrated cleaning system as well. So now the high pass filter has got a fluorine coating on, very smooth surface, so nothing actually adheres to it. So that's a new feature. What else have we got? Probably one of the most significant features, apart from the new processor and the new sensor and the new style of the new design of the larger pixel sensor, is the fact that it shoots full HD video. And that's full HD. Now we know the Nikons actually do near full HD, but this actually does 1920 by 1080 progressive scanning pixels, 30 frames per second, and it will shoot that for, well, depending on the life of your card, to be honest, 12 minutes at full HD, 24 minutes at standard definition range, so you can change that as well. Talk just a little bit more about some of the internals on here, both for software and for hardware. In terms of specification, one of the complaints that some photographers made about the 5D, the previous incarnate, was the fact that it's a little bit slow to operate. You'd only get sort of 2.5, 3 frames a second depending on what you're processing. Now they've actually bumped the speed up with that. Obviously they've got a 21.1 megapixel sensor, so there's more data, but they've actually managed to increase the frame rate too. So you're now getting 3.9 frames per second at full 21 megapixels. Now you can do that for 78 JPEGs, sorry, and about 13 RAWs. If you buy one of the new UDMA style CF cards, you can shoot, basically fill the card up with JPEGs and it'll just keep shooting at the full 3.9 frames a second. With RAWs slightly less, it'll go initially to the first 13 and then it'll do roughly about 1 frame a second. So it'll just keep, as you keep shooting, it'll keep processing basically. One of the very clever features that I've seen on the back of the camera that the bods at Canon have told us about is this new creative auto mode. Now, this is a very clever system. Anybody who's actually read the specs of the 50D will be slightly familiar with this. And essentially what it is, it's instead of having the green, which they have, they've got the green full auto mode, this creative auto mode allows you to actually, with you've got 5 types of change that you can do, and it allows you just to very quickly and selectively change certain key elements of the camera settings, exposure settings, so that those coming up perhaps from a compact or want just a very quick way of operating their camera, you've got 5 methods to actually do it, and it's all menu driven on the back of the screen. It's all simple and easy to use. So very clever system there, and we'll go into more detail about that when we review it in the magazine. So usual, ISO hot shoe for the flash gun. With a grip you can shoot upright, of course, as well, and something new about the grip as well is it has the new AF on. I don't know whether you can see that there. If I show that to the other camera, there's an AF on button, and it also is going to be on the grip too. So new battery system. This is very important actually, particularly for all you stock guys out there. They've designed a new kind of battery. It's pretty much the same size as the other one, slightly smaller, but redesigned. But the key thing is not just the battery life shooting in your normal daytime conditions. It's actually its low cool temperature performance. At 0 degrees they tested it to about 750 frames. Now if you can compare that with say normal room temperature shooting, you're getting about 850 frames. So there's not a huge drop. So for all you guys out there who are sort of fumbling around for batteries and things because they drop off very quickly, now the battery capacity in cold conditions is much improved. Now I know there's going to be a good few photographers out there that will be quite impressed with that. Going into the menu system, it's got a battery info setting, so you can look at the new battery and it tells you the remaining capacity, shutter count, etc. But what it can do is remember 6 other batteries. It'll actually remember that data. So when you've been shooting with the battery and you've sort of taken it out half power to put a new one in, you scroll through on the back of the camera and actually you can pick, say, battery 5 out of the 6 and know that one's got half power. And then rather than sort of scrabbling around your bag and swapping batteries and things, very clever idea. Another very clever feature as well is it's got a sensor on the back that is actually light sensitive. So if I show the back of the camera, you can see the exposure information on there.